I do feel a lot more free now that I've kind of overcome that part of my life. I definitely had lots of bumps in the road. Do I have a reason to kind of keep going and like keep trying? Hi, my name is Carolina Nogas, and I'm a 16-year-old girl from Louisiana. This is pretty much my story. When I was born, my left leg was shorter than my right leg, and it always grew slower than the rest of my body did. In order to compensate for the difference in length, I had to wear a shoe with a lift on my left foot until my first lengthening surgery when I was 7 years old. My parents had the option to either amputate my leg or to lengthen it.
Our oldest is Amanda. She's currently in nursing school and has a 4-year-old child. Our middle child is Zachary. He is getting ready to graduate from college. And Carolina is our youngest.
We find out that we're expecting a baby. It will be baby number 3.
It was very exciting. I mean, we were very excited to get pregnant, and we were trying to do that, and it was a great start. It was a good time.
Previous pregnancies were normal. This one seemed to be that way also, until I went for my first ultrasound. It was immediately detected that there was a discrepancy with the baby's left leg. There was some silence with the ultrasound tech. She suggested that the doctor look at the ultrasound, and the first thing he said was, "I'm sorry that this is happening to you." And went on to tell us some things that he suspected could be causing this leg length discrepancy. And some of those things were things that you wouldn't wish for your baby. And then we were offered the option of terminating the pregnancy if we thought that it was something that we didn't want to continue with. And that was offered to us several times. And we were very persistent with, that's not an option.
I distinctly remember the day that she was born. It was very special for me. It was my first seeing a birth of a child. But as I recall, it was pretty scary, you know. Sorry. You know, you get excited to have a child, and then to find out there may be something wrong. It gets you worried.
During the first 5 years, we looked around. We had different surgeons in our area where we lived to evaluate, and we looked at a couple of facilities, hospitals, because we had decided not to amputate and to do surgical intervention and to lengthen. But we never felt really comfortable.
One of my aunts mentioned that she saw something on television about a procedure that was done at a Shriners Hospital. Then there was an outreach clinic near our area in a neighboring town. So when those few little things started to, get pieced together, we went to that outreach clinic and we said, okay, we're going to try to look at this and see if this is something for us.
So that initial appointment was made, and that's when Carolina was 5 years old. And that appointment was missed because a week before the appointment is when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans and hit our home.
But we had evacuated previously several times, but this time I distinctly remember, okay, kids, look around, get what you want, because this house will not be here when we get back. And it's not the fact that the house was gone. I mean, that's immaterial, but the scope of the damage was really unbelievable. And I tell you, when we drove to this property, there was a few minutes where I wasn't even sure we were on the right street.
We finally came to a point where we had that appointment rescheduled, and we were able to get to Shreveport. We went in as a family, so we all arrive and go into clinic. And clinic appeared as if they knew us. It wasn't as if you were walking into a medical facility. It was almost like walking into someone's home.
We chose Shriners because we wanted Carolina to have the best care, the best experience, and the best support staff, because we fully understood that it was going to be a several-year commitment to get this done for her.
You know, the Shriners Hospital has always been a place where, children with real significant limb deformities have found a place that they can receive treatment. But I think because of the volume of patients that we see with significant deformities, we do a lot more of these surgeries than most centers do. If you look at our general practice here, we're probably putting on maybe 40 to 50 external fixator systems in the course of a year. And that's quite extensive. If I look through the medical record, I can see where Carolina was the ideal candidate to undergo these procedures. She had only about a 15 centimeter projected leg length discrepancy. She had a stable foot. Her foot was relatively normal, and the family was very enthusiastic. We'll put the frame on, create a very stable environment, and then the bone is cut. And then things are usually locked up and not moved for a week to 10 days before we actually start the lengthening. Most of the time we can have the family do the adjustments themselves, and that's a big benefit to these sort of external fixators. Her external fixators were what we call Lizaroff fixators. They're ring fixators. They allow lengthening. They also allow angular corrections, and they're very good.
We understood what was going to be on her leg when she got out of surgery. But when you see your child come out of surgery with that device affixed to her leg and the pain that she was in, it's a difficult thing. And you want to be strong for her. It does take a commitment. You're up every night, all night. And in Carolina's case, it was pain or pin side care, or I remember rubbing her foot. Must have been just hours and hours and hours at a time, and her being in excruciating pain. And so when it was time for the third surgery, I was pretty much done, because that second round was rough. And we had a conversation right in the kitchen. And I said, "What do you think about this?" But she looked at me and she says, "No, Poppy, we started this and we have to finish it."
Carolina's always been so pleasant, a wonderful family. She's always been strong. Physical therapy is not always easy, but she would go through it anyway. She's so tough. We always tell them to work hard, do their exercises, do what they're supposed to do. That way they can do whatever it is that they want to do in the future.
Watching Carolina, I remember you could tell that it was a struggle for her to walk around with, and she was no longer with her classmates she had been with for the last 9 years. She was in a brand new environment.
J'étais sur le balcon de travailler au frais.
Everything was new. And so she's walking in with this brace, and I remember thinking, we have this girl who has this condition that she has, that she's trying to now battle and also make a mark on this school and want people to know who she is aside from this condition.
She never lets her legs bother her. She makes it part of her life. It's part of who she is. But then the girls see what her attitude is toward it, and then they use her as a role model to help them deal with, their challenges in their life.
It took a long time, about half my life, but as a result, my leg was lengthened 7 inches. Although it was really painful and there were lots of things I couldn't do, I'm so glad I did it. And Shriners Hospitals for Children really contributed to the success. My experience would have been completely different had I not done them there. I'm kind of interested in a wide variety of things, and I think that's because I spent so much time in a hospital bed or in my own bed at my house. And so I would use that time to kind of experiment with things. And so I started getting into art and writing and music. But then after the surgeries, I think I kind of got tired of doing things that weren't active, and so I started horseback riding and surfing and all kinds of outdoor activities.
Dr. Gates was a big part of our lives for 10 years or more. I guess this is a testament to the experience that we've had over the years at Shriners is while each of those times she was wheeled into surgery is a stressful time, it became a little easier each time too because you knew that she was in good hands. It was very nice being able to share an exciting change of his life in his retirement.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Carolina is, well, she's one in a million. She's one of the most special people I know. She has amazing ability to focus, amazing persistence. She kept a smile on her face through all of this. So you've been doing all of your activities that they wanted to see, I guess.
Yeah, just this morning, I went and rode horses.
Caroline, from the beginning, I've seen that she had some goals, and one of them was to be a good rider. The one thing I can remember is her getting up into a saddle. When we go out to the arena, you're going to see a green step out there, and Carolina used to use that all the time. And now, she just puts her foot in a stirrup and gets up.
I started riding when I was 5, and I had my first surgery when I was 7. And so I had this love of horses for a few years, and then I had to just stop seeing them altogether because it was kind of dangerous to be outside and stuff could get in my leg. And so I hadn't really been around a horse for a few years. And that's all I wanted was just to go, like to be done with all of this and just go ride a horse again, but I couldn't do that and I had to wait. So that was kind of like my kind of drive was like, once I finish this day, I'll be like one day closer to riding the horses.
The biggest thing to take into consideration with Carolina is her spirit. Her dad revealed today that she's now surfing. It's that sort of spirit that can't be stopped. That's what's going to lead her, I think, to an absolutely normal life.
So there's been so many people at Shriners Hospitals that have played a role in this whole experience. There's no way to really express how appreciative and thankful we are as parents to give the best care to our child and make us feel good about it and to do it with such love.
While it may sound a little trivial, I guess, that your leg is longer, I think the things that it allows you to do, which inspires you to do more, I think is very meaningful. And I think that shapes people into who they ultimately become. And the others that they inspire to do better for themselves.
To be able to see someone like Carolina be able to do the kinds of things that she does, and it's only because of her fortitude that she does that, and the family that never told her that she was any different from anybody else. That's the thing that makes me the most proud to have been able to do that for those years.
And we thank you, Dr. Gates, for all your compassion and encouragement along the way. We couldn't have done it without you. We're just grateful that God put us in that place.
Amen.
I think that the people who have kind of accompanied me on my journey at Shriners Hospital, they have been there each step of the way, and every step they would remind me that what I'm going through has a purpose. They understood that it was painful now, but in the future it's going to be so rewarding. I would just want to tell them how grateful that I am, because I am kind of quiet, and so I don't know if they all kind of know like how much I appreciate everything that they've done. I'm really excited to meet you, and I can't wait to hear your story. Hopefully we can both inspire others in similar situations to overcome their challenges. Carolina.
Dear Carolina, my name is Marius Woodward. Looks like we have a couple of things in common. We are both patients of Shriners Hospitals, and we both love being active. My story is different. I'm a burn survivor. This place is far from Ciureș, Romania, where I was born. It's been a long road and it hasn't always been easy. You might be wondering how I ended up in Utah since I was born in Romania. So I have my mom and my dad, Kati and Mihai Dacianu, and then I have my older brother, Ionuț, and then my sister, which is in the middle. Her name is Alina, and that was our small family. We had a pretty small house. It was just like 2 big rooms, but we had chickens, cows, horses, and farming, and we had our own gardens, and back then I was happy. My mom was just always kind. She always had short hair and was curly, and she was loving. My dad was playful sometimes, but most of the time I guess he was just angry, and he drank a lot and smoked a lot. And so my brother was in Italy working. He was 18, and my sister was with her boyfriend. My dad was mad that night because my sister took some money from my dad. He was mad and yelling, and he said that, you know, I locked all the doors, and he found a gas can, and the stove was still hot, so it was making me nervous. My mom was crying, and I tried to, you know, get up and jump to my mom's bed, and it was a little bit of gap between. So my dad saw that, so he took the gas can. It was open, so he put it on the stove and kind of threw some right in the middle between the beds. Immediately the flames just came up. I broke the 2 windows with my wrist, so I was able to get out, and at that point I forgot everything about my parents or what was going on. I just wanted to survive. Months went by, so now I realized, you know, I didn't have fingers, and I was even more sad. And so, you know, later on, it's just I kind of grew into it, and I was like, all right, I guess this is what I have to live with. And I wanted a mirror. I wanted a mirror to see what I looked like, and I just sat there and just looked, and it was sad. So eventually my aunt came. She lived in America, and I don't remember how she told me, but she came up to me and just said, you know, parents, you know, both passed away, and I was so sad. I couldn't like eat and do anything for a whole week. I was just so disappointed. That time was really hard, you know, because I was going through so much pain. And then, you know, a couple weeks later, Jessica and Ashley came, and they they made everything better.
In 2007, I was taking a child development course at BYU, and they show a video. It's a documentary of orphans in Romania. So after the video, I decided I wanted to go because they had a program where you could go and work with the orphans.
I remember walking home and just calling my mom and saying, Mom, I have to do this program. I just have to. I just felt so drawn to it. And that's where I met Ashley and where I met the other girls that were gonna go with us. So in Romania, we worked at an orphanage, and the hospital was actually on the other side of town. And we would walk to the hospital and work with kids that didn't have parents there with them.
Some nurses came up to us and they said, there's a little boy here who his parents actually died in a fire, and it's his birthday today. But that was the first time we were able to see Marius. That's really what got the conversation started between me and Jessica about bringing him here, was after that birthday party on the walk home.
Ashley had been in Romania for probably about 3 weeks. We'd been in close contact, just, you know, FaceTiming and Skyping and everything. She called and told me about Marius, and it all started a little bit, you know, we met this young boy. He's 8 years old. He was in a terrible house fire. Each phone call was a little more information and a little bit more devastating to hear about it. So I was already attached to him. But when she called and asked if there was any possible way that we could bring him to the United States, I'm a little bit ashamed to admit this, but my first reaction was just fear. And I remember saying, Ashley, do you have any idea what you're asking? Ashley said, we have to try. There were no more plans for any more surgeries.
The girls wanted to see if there was something that we could do. And I said, he lives in another country. There's the logistics of, helping someone like that is just astronomical.
We became committed to bringing Marius to the United States. We were going to give it our absolute very best shot. The very absolute first step was to find someone who would do his medical care. We had no idea where to begin.
But I thought about it, and we discussed it a lot. And I knew about Shriners Hospital for Children.
Ionuț had to agree to become his legal guardian. Romania wouldn't release him as an orphan, and Shriners needed him to have a legal guardian. So that was tricky, but everything became hopeful when Shriners Hospitals got on board.
I kind of forgot about young and fun and having your own time. Now you got to take care of this, and I try to be 100%, be in charge, helping my brother, and I try to be like a parent.
So my brother, when he came back to Romania from Italy, he had to do a lot of hard work for 18-year-old, and he had to fix the house, and he had to come visit me, and he had to prepare for my parents' funerals, and he said that was hard. And
we were raised kind of taking care of each other, and we kind of took care of each other growing up. It felt like natural. Your parents passed away, you got to take care of each other.
After Marius arrived in the United States, we spent a whole month having fun. We took him to Disneyland and SeaWorld and to Arizona. We just enjoyed the time we had together. And then as soon as those few months were over, that's kind of when we got back to work and said, okay, education-wise, language-wise, what are we going to do for these boys? And that was when they were staying at my house in Arizona.
We were in San Diego, and the hospital was in LA. They were in Phoenix, so the plan was for him to be with us for every surgery, for all the recoveries, for the holidays, everything. So they went to live with the Frees, and I actually think that probably was very good because the Free family, they're a wonderful family. He went there in September of 2008, and then his first surgery was in October, and then it was decided shortly after that he would finish out that school year and then come and live with us.
Marius came here when he was already about 8 years old after having had his acute burn taken care of with multiple problems. One of the first surgeries he had was to help take care of his eyelids because you can have significant problems with dryness of your eyes and exposure of your corneas causing problems down the line. Then as we went through it and talked about things, one of the main features of your face is the central part and the nose. And so at that point, then he also had multiple reconstructive surgeries to essentially reconstruct the nose. He then had multiple hand surgeries kind of in the interim during the same time, and this overlapped. So in the beginning, he had no fingers at all.
A toe-to-hand transfer is probably the most difficult operation, maybe of all operations, because it involves dissecting either the great toe or the second toe in the foot, not only with all the bones and the joints, but the tendons that flex the toe, extend the toe, and then all those are connected to the hand either in the thumb position or in the finger position. And then we used what's called a combined second, third toe. So we took his second and third toes as a unit and reconstructed 2 fingers on one hand, and then did the same thing in his remaining hand. Marius actually pushed me to keep his remaining 2 toes, so he has 2 toes on each foot, and he is able to play football and run and walk, and we're pretty sure that Marius is the only person in the world who's had 6 toe transfers.
It melts my heart to see basically Marius's change over all the years after all of his surgeries, because he's just grown so much. I tell my kids about him all the time because I want my kids to grow up kind of having that open spirit, open mind, work hard for what you get. Don't think that everything is so terrible. You know, there can be a lot worse things. And I think Marius he fulfills all that. Everything is going to be good in life if you keep headed in that positive direction.
Marius's future is bright, and I think in part because of Shriners Hospital. He has the opportunity to move forward with, new fingers, new hands, a new nose, all of those things that we take for granted he now has. And I think that with those things and with his story, he can go places.
Me and him, we kind of like to compete a lot.
Let's see who gets the mile first.
And gym is the most time that we spend together and being together at the gym. It's great for me working out with him and seeing him being able to lift weight and function pretty normal like everybody else. And it's no excuses, you don't need to have no excuses. He has no grip, but he does it. He finds a way to do it. Yeah, just tells me nothing is impossible if you really want to, and he's one of those person. He's trying his best and he succeeds.
That'd be cool if I was a model, because I love showing myself, and I accepted myself of who I am, and with all these scars, they represent something. They represent what you went through. And I think it'd be so fun to be a model and to show people that doesn't matter what you look like, you should be proud of yourself and show the world who you really are, not to be someone else.
He does have a deep desire to help others, and he's thought a lot about going into the burn survivor therapy and counseling, but he doesn't want to limit it just to burn survivors. He wants to help anyone who is struggling with anything. The thing that I hear the most from him is hard things happen to people. Really hard things happen to people. You can do it. You're strong enough. Try not to be discouraged. Just everything's going to be okay. So I think he wants to give hope to people.
It's all right to be sad and cry. It's good to have the sad moments, but you just need to push yourself and stop looking as yourself as a different person and just as a new person. This happened for your reason.
Hey, all right, good to see you.
I think those angels and my brother, my sister, and the 2 girls from America that brought me here and got to meet Shriners Hospital for Children, and without them, I don't think I'd have gone that far in life.
If it hadn't been for Shriners Hospitals for Children, none of this would have even begun. And I don't know really any other organization that could have done it, that would have had all the tools, the orthopedics and the burn care, to be able to take care of his complex case. I hope you can see and understand fully with the deepest part of your soul what you've done for this boy. The words "thank you" don't seem like enough.
I think Marius's life was changed for the better. There was a huge support system that started this wonderful process. I believe firmly that there was a plan for him. He was needed to be here. He was needed to be a voice, to share his story, to strengthen others.
Because he was sitting in bed so much in the hospital and stuff, he had such a bad infection too on his legs. I don't think he would have been strong enough to fight all that infection to be with us today. And I believe that. I think if it wasn't all the people that helped us from America and Shriners Hospital, I don't think he could have finished the fight. That's what I'm the most grateful.
At Shriners Hospital for Children, I'll tell them, thank you so much for changing my life and my views, and I would have been nothing if I never we never heard about them. They've just been incredible, and I just want to, tell them thank you for all they did and to keep on doing the good work and to help other kids.
I would like to thank the staff, the doctors, everyone that works there, from the people that bring animals and pets in for the children, to the charge nurses, to the surgeons for Shriners Hospital for Children. They've just been amazing, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You've been just really wonderful to our family.
My mom, I think she's really proud, and now I have the chance, to help others too, and I think that's what she wanted. And well, that's my story. I hope we can work together so that others will get to know more about Shriners Hospital for Children and all that it does for kids like us. Another crazy thing was that my brother Yunus married one of the American girls, Ashley. They have a really cute little boy and girl, and now they are having another baby next month. So that's it for now. Hope to meet you soon. Marius Daciano, Free Woodward.